The date is May 29, 2023. The small town of Red River is buzzing with laughter and joy in celebration of the Red River Motorcycle Rally. Everyone shares one passion, the love of motorcycles. But the crowd is blindsided as, suddenly, gunshots ring in the air, followed by screams. There is blood, then bodies drop, then a stampede ensues, and it doesn't take long before the joyous event descends into a bloodbath. A sneak peek into the outlaw motorcycle clubs. What exactly happened in the 2023 rally that transformed this peaceful event into a full-blown brawl that led to the deaths of so many people? For this, it is important to understand what infuriated certain people to the point of becoming murderous. Motorcycle clubs might seem like groups of individuals having harmless fun whilst promoting activities that involve motorbikes. However, that is not the case when it comes under the title of the illegal outlaw motorcycle clubs. Members of the outlaw motorcycle clubs take immense pride in being distinct and unique from the other legal motorcycle clubs that must adhere to the rules set by the American Motorcycle Association, AMA. Instead, each outlaw motorcycle club has its own hierarchy and own set of rules and regulations that they take honor in following. But here's the bone-chilling part. The U.S. Department of Justice describes them as highly structured criminal organizations. Surprisingly, outlaw motorcycle gangs originate from combat veterans of World War II in the late 1940s. These soldiers found it difficult to adjust back to peaceful civilian life and instead found joy in riding bikes. Soon, these bikers formed motorcycle gangs having members that had the same values and level of respect for each other, but at the same time, building hatred for rival motorcycle gangs. These gangs are heavily involved in many criminal activities, which is why outlaw motorcycle gangs are not recognized by the government of the United States of America, and are often cited as organizations whose members use their motorcycle clubs as a vehicle for criminal ventures. With a notoriety like that, it is only a matter of time before something goes horribly wrong, and so it did. The incident of the Red River shooting also involves two of the most infamous and feared outlaw motorcycle gangs, Bandidos and Waterdogs. Terrorizing reign of the infamous Bandidos. Ever since the inception of the Bandidos motorcycle gang in the populous state of Texas in the late 1960s, they have only climbed the ladder of the most feared motorcycle gangs in the world. Cut 1. We all bleed is a motto the gang members live by. Thus, they have no exception when it comes to protecting their own. Of course, even if it means crossing the laws of the country or getting involved in brutal fights. But to understand the story a little better, we need to figure out where the Bandido gang came from. The Bandidos motorcycle gang was established to support and praise the Mexican bandits who lived life as they wanted, with no restrictions. In a sickening way, they have no respect for the people living under the restraints of the country's laws. In fact, they go as far as to deem themselves superior to them. They are infamously known as the 1% of motorcycle clubs, a term used to refer to criminal motorcycle gangs, distinct from the other 99% of the legal motorcycle clubs in the world. While it may not be something to boast about, they take huge pride in being unique from all the other motorcycle gangs in this way. Despite their strong brotherhood within the club, the members of the Bandidos motorcycle gang are not fond of handling matters outside of the club with kindness. They often make headlines for terrorizing and using violence to achieve what they want, not only with the innocent locals, but also with rival motorcycle gangs. They are notoriously involved in drugs and weapons trafficking, money laundering, prostitution, kidnapping and robbery, guns and explosives violations, as well as in several murders and bombings. They often don't need a big reason to resort to brutality. Anyone questioning their motives or stepping on their pride will surely have to face the infamous fatal wrath of the Bandidos. Against such brutes like Bandidos, there arises a question: who are the Waterdogs? The fearless Waterdogs. As compared to the population of Bandidos, the Waterdogs motorcycle gang is extremely small. Based in Albuquerque, the largest city in New Mexico, the highlight of the Waterdogs motorcycle club's activities is its involvement in the deadly Red River Rally shootout. Other than this main event, they have always managed to escape the clutches of the police. There's a solid reason for that. As compared to the Bandidos, the Waterdogs have always kept their criminal business under the radar of the authorities. However, to understand the deadly incident a little better, it is imperative to understand the Waterdogs' nature. The Waterdogs identify themselves as religious and staunch followers of Christianity. Their president has explained that the water in their name means the living water, which is Jesus Christ. On the other hand, the dogs refer to all the members lowering themselves to being just a bunch of filthy dogs trying to chase after the purified water. Although the president and members of the Waterdogs continue to strongly dissociate themselves from the outlaw motorcycle gangs community, their history and facts have proven otherwise. The criminal history of the fearless Waterdogs motorcycle gang demonstrates a track record in fatal brawls to protect what they believe is near and dear. That alone elevates their position in the infamous outlaw motorcycle gangs, giving them such notoriety that has people thinking twice before challenging them. So how did such a deadly rivalry between these two violent gangs develop? Rivalry between the notorious Bandidos and Waterdogs. Looking from the outside, there is little to no comparison between the big Bandidos motorcycle gang, spread out across the whole world, to the extremely tiny Waterdogs motorcycle gang. But despite their huge size difference, there is no dissimilarity between them when it comes to their strong ego and pride in who they are. Both of these gangs don't believe in mixing with each other, choosing to operate as separately as possible. Intermixing with the other gangs is a sign of betrayal and a disgrace for the gangs involved. Understandably, through small and big disputes, the two gangs have developed a strong hatred and disregard for each other. According to the police, the Bandidos and Waterdogs motorcycle gangs have had fierce competition for many years to win control over the many criminal enterprises, territories, and valuable resources in the country. Given the powerful influence the Bandidos have, a small but fearless gang like the Waterdogs trying to claim the Bandidos' territory or engage in similar criminal activities as that of the supposedly invincible Bandidos could be seen as a huge potential threat to them. The deadly case of the 2023 Red River Rally shootout is the most poignant example of their immense hatred for each other that even a harmless photograph could enrage them to the point of murder. This takes us to May 29, 2023. Red River, New Mexico fatal rally shootout. The Red River Motorcycle Rally, in the small town of Red River, in the beautiful state of New Mexico, is an annual event for all bike enthusiasts from around the world. A tradition spanning over 40 years, the event is filled with joy, laughter, delicious food, and live music, with everyone gathered together to peacefully celebrate their love for motorcycles. However, the 2023 Red River Motorcycle Rally sure wrote down its name in history, all because of two rival gangs, the Bandidos and the Waterdogs. Almost 28,000 bikers with their families showed up to participate in the 2023 Red River Motorcycle Rally. The day started with beautiful festivities. However, high tensions were simmering as the two notorious rivals, Bandidos and Waterdogs, were present in the same vicinity. Although police officers were on high alert at critical points in the town, no one prepared them for what was about to happen. So, what really went wrong? The root of the conflict was a seemingly harmless photograph of the Bandidos members posing together with the Waterdogs members. In the world of outlaw motorcycle gangs, this is a sign of huge disrespect, as intermixing can be considered betrayal. That photograph, accompanied by a few taunts and malicious remarks, triggered the gangs into a full-blown brawl. Both sides exchanged nasty punches and went as far as to throw various objects present at the scene for the event. The locals, expecting to enjoy a peaceful day, were left distraught and terrorized by how the event was unfolding. Soon, in the late afternoon, the intense physical brawl took a more fatal turn. It wasn't long before a fistfight turned into a gunfight. Both the gang members, without any care for the women and children at the scene, shot at each other, trying their best to take the lives of one another. The peaceful event was turned into a bloodbath as members of the gangs were killed mercilessly by each other. Police officers tried their best to stop the deadly fight, but they were too late. The aftermath. The casualties were a horrifying sight to witness. 2 of the Bandidos members and 1 Waterdogs member were killed. Surprisingly, only 1 member was charged with the open count of murder. Several other members of both gangs present at the scene were arrested on different charges like possession of drugs, carrying unlawful firearms, and much more. The 2023 Red River Motorcycle Rally shootout surely drove everyone's attention to the importance of upholding law and order. Although the gangs deem themselves superior to the law-abiding citizens, their fatal clashes with each other leave the community with tragic and unbearable losses. The bitter truth is that unless law enforcement doesn't intervene and control them, they won't be controlled on their own. Turn on the notification bell so that you are the first to enjoy the most compelling documentaries about the world's most notorious outlaw motorcycle clubs. If you enjoyed this video, then click here for another video delving into the inner world of another notorious outlaw motorcycle club.